Heidi Planck, the missing mother from Los Angeles. I've done 2 videos on the story so far, so if you've missed those, you need to watch them. I'll put the links down below. I'm going to make a playlist, but let's talk about some of the updates. Nancy Grace spoke with her ex-husband, Jim Wayne. Before we get to that, detectives did collect video surveillance at these apartment buildings where the dog was found.
And we've learned detectives have seized security video from the downtown apartment building where, strangely, her dog was found wandering around. No one can explain why.
Heidi's ex-husband believes Jason Sugarman, which was Heidi's boss, had something to do with this, though law enforcement hasn't mentioned any connection.
Some people are looking into her work. She knew everything. She knew everything. She knew everything.
Did it ever occur to you that maybe she knew too much?
It occurs to me every second that she knew too much.
Law enforcement has not said Sugarman is connected to Heidi's disappearance in any way, but her ex-husband is convinced her work at Camden should be investigated.
We spoke about Jason on the previous videos with the alleged fraud charges. It's a lot of money, some fishy, weird history, and some of his connections to other people. And if you watch the previous video, Heidi's husband, Jim, said that Jason's assistant called him asking for the laptop and even accusing Heidi of siphoning funds from the company. So it's getting kind of weird and murky. I also briefly spoke about Heidi's boyfriend on the previous video, and we had very little information. Well, a little bit more information has come out.
Also new, Heidi's friends say she had a new boyfriend in the Bay Area, Naeem Salam, who works as a VP for a charity created by Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg. Friends say Heidi texted him before her disappearance that she was scared and wished that he was with her.
That's pretty telling and interesting that her last text, supposedly, if that's correct, was to the boyfriend and that she was scared and she wishes he were there with her. What was she scared of? Where was she at? Does the boyfriend know any more information as far as what was going on at her job? And if you remember as well, previously, Heidi was talking about that she didn't like that her boss, Jason, had her name on a lot of the paperwork for the corporate filings. So this is Nancy Grace, and she talks to Heidi's ex-husband, Jim Wayne, which he talks about some of the details with regards to the cell phone and other things. It's pretty interesting.
Okay, back to you, Jim Wayne. This is the father of Heidi's son, Bond. Tell me about that cell phone.
Her cell phone. The cell phone, I went into her house with Danielle and to look around. This was after the police report was, the missing person report was done. Danielle and I went into her house. I saw that her phone was sitting there. Danielle brought it to me, I think it was the next day. Because I was trying to get a hold of friends and family for Heidi. So that's how I came in possession of that. I also had to turn that over to the detectives at the LAPD.
So Heidi, herself, that's where I got that. You did find her cell phone, but not at the building. It was back at her home?
At her home, yes.
Okay, and Danielle, you were with Jim when he found the cell phone?
She actually had 2 phones. So she.
An FYI on who Danielle is, when reading the article, it says that that is Heidi's friend.
She had a work phone and she had a personal phone. The one that was at the house, I believe, is the personal phone that I ended up taking over to Jim. But I had gone to her house prior, I think maybe Monday or Tuesday, because Bond texted me and he's like, my mom's not answering me. Have you heard from her? And I said, no, she didn't respond to me yesterday, which, I mean, was a little weird, but not responding for 24 hours is normal for me, not for her. So he asked me to go to the house and check because I have a key to the house. So I went over there, and one of her phones was sitting on the kitchen counter, which is the one that I ended up taking over to Jim after the missing persons report was filed, because he wanted to see if they could find any clues in it.
So the personal phone is the one that you got from her home, correct?
We don't, Nancy, sorry, Nancy, it's Jim. We don't know if it's the personal or the business. The police detectives have told me that was her personal phone, according to Apple.
Okay.
That's all I know.
All right. So was it on or cut off?
It was on.
Her phone was on, but the location services on her phones, the laptop and her watch, are all shut off.
When were they shut off?
I'm sorry?
When were they shut off? Location?
We don't know. We don't. That is another one of those mysteries. We don't know. And if the police do know, they haven't shared that with me.
You know, Alexis Tereszchuk, you can go into your phone and go through all sorts of gyrations and cut off location services. But why would she do that on all of her devices? Was location service cut off when she went missing? So now we have one phone and we're missing another phone. Gosh. So the police have searched her home pursuant to warrant. Why? Because they couldn't ask her for consent.
That's all that I was allowed to watch on the website, but it's an interesting video. Also, the article states that Wayne said that Heidi's cell phone was full of messages from the woman that found the dog on the 28th floor. And they state that it's about 3 hours away from Heidi's home. Her Range Rover, purse, personal phone, and her computer were all gone. So they're assuming that that's her corporate phone, I guess, at the home. It was a little bit confusing. One phone they have in possession, one phone is gone. Range Rover, they still haven't located. It's interesting that they mentioned computer, which makes me wonder, is this the same computer that Jim Wayne, Heidi's ex-husband, said that Jason's assistant called asking about, wanting and stating that he wants his computer back? Is that the same computer that's missing? One final thought, and I was just wondering if they have searched that entire apartment complex, the two buildings, like searched like a full extensive search, because it makes me think of Elisa Lam, that woman with the Cecil Hotel. I don't know what happened to Heidi, but I just wonder, and somebody commented that yesterday, and it is one of the thoughts that I had. It's just interesting. Did they search the entire place for her? Because I would think that if she walked in there, which hopefully maybe the surveillance that police took can confirm, if she walked in there, she would have had to walk out unless she's still in there, or unless somebody did something. Please hit the like button, subscribe, turn on the bell with all notifications so you don't miss all the updates and videos. Appreciate all the support. Love you guys. Take care and peace.